Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 48th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with co-hosts Andrew Norman and Lily C. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Lily?
Hi, good morning. Hi, my name is Lily. I'm a recovering addict alcoholic. On the most beautiful journey of my life right now, which is called recovery. It's staying sober, practicing it one day at a time. I'm a 50-year-old Latin woman, and yeah, just enjoying the ride and hoping to bring all sorts of inspiration and blessings today and to help somebody out there that's suffering to fill their cup up a little bit.
Awesome. I love that, Lily. And so this is a question that I ask everybody who comes on the show. What was the pivotal moment when the program sparked a recovery fire in your heart? When did it go from like, oh shit, I got to do this, to holy shit, this could work for me? Like, ooh, the fire. You got recovery fever, burning up.
Yeah, I think it was the unity and the no one at the beginning. It was pretty scary. I'll admit that. And just to kind of keep it simple here, and just scared right to the 9 yards width and all. It was the unity and not just the love, but the respect and actually it was love by all means, right? Unconditional love and respect and just the warmth in the rooms, right? And without any judgment. And that's the first thing I was scared of coming through the rooms and the Zooms meetings that I attend is basically that, right? Is the acceptance. And I mean, I'm not looking for validation of any sort, because that was something that when I was lost, that's what I was looking for, and acceptance, but to a different level, right? So yeah, that's, I think, and courage. I found a lot of courage in those rooms. That's when I knew something has been lit up inside of me. The light bulb has been changed to a different watt. And now, yeah, it's the light inside of me is pretty bright right now. I'm on fire.
I think you've got recovery fire burning out of you, Lily. There's been a couple of days on the meeting. I was like, I got recovery fever is what I call it. And I'm burning up with it. But I saw a couple of days on the meeting where I was like, woo. Both Andrew and I were like, we got to get Lily on the podcast. She's got some fire burning in her.
That's right. That's right.
And so today's topic is a new life with new tools. And, you know, knowing both of you, whatever level I do know both of you, I've seen both of you talking about how your life is different than it was before. So, Andrew, could you tell us what this means to you in your recovery? And then afterwards, we'll go to Lily.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Miss Lily, for being here today. This is really, really special. We've been talking about getting you on for a long time, so we really, really appreciate you giving us some time. This one, when you hit me with this as the topic, Milan, a lot of things came up, and I just started writing. You know, there's a lot of things that can come across our tables because we're beaten down when we come into these rooms. I was completely beaten down. I had no hope. I had no tool. I didn't have any tools to get out of my my degradation, my depression, you know, all those feelings that we feel and all those emotions that we start feeling when we start getting a little clean. So, you know, in recovery, we often start to utilize certain things that we see other people doing, whether we fake it till we make it, or we start practicing or ask for help, right? Start practicing a little humility. But we utilize new tools and strategies going forward to help us stay clean and live a life in recovery, right? And that's very, very important going forward. because we have had a chemical dependence for so long. We've got to learn all these new tools. So, effective communication skills is something that right off the bat, when we come into these rooms, that we have to either develop or not. Um, I often say this, Miss Lily, that this is the most dangerous spectator sport in the world. You're not just going to sit back and it's not going to just rub off on you, right? You got to put some work in on this thing. And part of that is being able to communicate effectively. We pray these people, we pray these still sick and suffering addicts into these rooms, and our primary purpose is to carry that message to the addict that still suffers. So we have to watch how we communicate with each other in these rooms. And I think it's something that we adapt and develop as we keep coming to these meetings and develop that new social structure that we're looking for. But healthy coping mechanisms to manage triggers. Obviously, we're going to deal with triggers on a daily basis in our own way. It's those new tools that we use to be able to identify them, almost like a preventive maintenance program is the way I look at it. Um, you know, um, and then mindful meditation and prayer. I wasn't much of a prayer. I wasn't much of a guy when I got in here. And the prayer thing was a little uncomfortable to me, and now it saves my life. When I started realizing that I developed a relationship with it, saying it was talking back to me, it changed my recovery. And so being able to have prayer rituals that are important to me and that actually mean something to me is very important. Learning how to set boundaries. It's another thing we learn here is learning how to set boundaries, healthy boundaries, establishing limits and learning how to say no. No is a complete sentence. Done, right? Like you can say no, and that's it, right? We don't have to explain ourselves all the time, and identifying those emotions that will take over. Because what I've learned how to do, and this is another tool that really, we'll talk more about this in depth, but like have to train my mind to be stronger than my emotions, Miss Lily, or I'm going to lose every time. Because my emotions will get the best of me every single time. So I've got to have a way to channel my mind to channel those emotions in a healthy way before I act on them, or I'm gonna end up in the same spot I was. Because my best decisions making got me to these rooms. So, building a new healthy support network, relapse prevention strategies, developing self-care routines. I mean, it just when you said new tools and a new life, Milan, I couldn't stop. I'm still in my mind coming up with more. So all these things are how we develop them, and how we act on our way to them. Miss Lily is kind of like opens up that broader discussion, I think. So we'll go down to you.
Hey, what about you, Lily? What does that topic bring to mind for you?
Well, that's a big topic. Absolutely. Andrew kind of tackled a few of them. Absolutely. I know, Andrew, you probably have a few more.
I do.
I think also awareness. I know I'll keep it in what I've gone through with the program and the outside aspect. Today where I'm at is I used to care a lot about what people thought about me in recovery. I mean, my outside X circle is what I call it, the X circle, because it ain't the circle anymore, right? Um, just allowing myself to not be like, how do I explain this really gently here? Not to be able to be worried about what the outside world of where I was stuck in the darkness is what I call it. Not be able to let that in my head. So without prayer, sorry, Andrew, to crosstalk here. Without prayer,
You're allowed crosstalk, by the way. Crosstalk
praying.
is allowed.
Yeah, it's all
Okay,
allowed.
sorry.
It's a
All
crosstalk
right,
friendly
let's go.
platform.
So
It would
yeah,
be called the
without
crosstalk if we
prayer,
could.
without prayer and finding a higher power. And I mean, I believe in so many things that bring me all sorts of good abundance of energy and gifts every single day. With that being said, I needed to connect with that again, right? Like I believe we all have a little bit of a gift inside of us that belongs to the universe or the creator, whichever way you want to put it, or the stars, stardust. We all carry some energy, and our DNA is made of energy and water, right? So with that being said, the discipline on top of that also that has, sorry, there's some things going on here, and some motorbikes are about to arrive. But with that being said, the prayer, the meditation, the discipline, the commitment. Today I have awareness also that this does work. And that's where I'm going with this, that I was so worried about what the outside circle was going to think. And today I'm like, no, I don't need to prove anything to anybody but myself. I've got the creators on my side. I've got all sorts of blessings and gifts, and it's a lot of hard work, but I've put in the work. So commitment has taught me a lot. It's like a marriage almost is the way I see it. If you want your marriage to work, you got to work at it to make it stronger, right? So today I have a very strong foundation, and I'm building a house. I've cleaned out the house, demolished it, and now I'm building a new house, and that's what sobriety has given me, and recovery. I mean, it's such, being 50 years old and struggling for over 30 years, if we could only turn back time, but that's just wishful thinking, right? But at the same time, I'm gentle on myself, and these tools, like to have compassion with myself, the self-discovery of where I'm at today, and just to be able to reflect. I'm never going backwards. I'm going up that ladder, boys. I'm not going down the ladder, right? So to be able to lose everything I have today, absolutely not. And I'm pretty firm on that decision. I know some people are like, oh, don't say this. I'm not saying never, but for today, it ain't happening, right? So yeah, and the boundary thing, I'm having a little bit. I've always been, and who knows what can happen tomorrow, but after this podcast, the answer, that no, the statement, it's a full sentence. No means no, right? I've always been a people pleaser since I've been a little girl. So that boundary, I'm really trying really hard to kind of
It's
work
uncomfortable,
with.
isn't it?
It is, and I don't like breaking hearts. I'm not a heartbreaker, and I don't hurt feelings, even when I was lost in the darkness. And no, I was always that. And again, maybe I was seeking a little bit of validation and, this and that. But I mean, that word no, I'm working really hard every single day. And sometimes I have to take a time out where I'm like, hey, you know what? This is not a good decision. This and that, and it's putting me out, like what happened before we all connected. It's like, hey, I got 11 minutes to make it 5 blocks down, 5 blocks back, and I'll still have enough time. And I mean, I shouldn't put myself through that, right? Because it almost gives me like anxiety, and I don't like feeling the anxiety part of it, right? So the tools I have today also, I focus quite a bit on my mental health, quite a bit, since my dad passed away 17 and a half years. It'll be 18 years in March. Colon cancer. I mean, that's where it really got really, really bad, with the depression and this and that. And I knew something was going on more than just losing my dad. So that I've been focusing on, even when I was lost, I was still showing up, all whacked out of it, and still showing up and nodding off and falling asleep on the couch while they're asking me all sorts of questions. But I have a beautiful, beautiful psychiatrist and psychologist that know me quite well, and same as my doctor. So I'm very, again, the tools, the gifts. The attitude for gratitude today is beyond the clouds, it's beyond this universe, this planet. I'm heading to Mars, boys.
It's beautiful.
But I'm just beyond. And I mean, I wish, if, this is what I tell people too, if I had a tool that could influence the entire world, it would be probably like a genie's lamp. Get 3 wishes, there would be no more drugs on the surface, and no one would ever be able to come up with the formula. And same with alcohol, no formulas, never, ever, ever. And we would have nothing but peace on earth. And I know that's wishful thinking, but maybe for the next planet out there in the universe, maybe they'll have that, where none of this is ever tolerable and accepted by society and looked down upon and frowned upon, right? So Yeah, I never
I love
dreamed
that.
ever I never dreamed as a little girl to ever who does, right? To ever I had dreams like I wanted to be a mom, 5, 6 kids from one man, obviously. And I never ever dreamed that I was going to end up being an addict and an alcoholic, right? So and today the tools have also given me the responsibility of accountability and responsibility for all of my actions, right? So before, putting it forward, paying it forward, today it's just 100 times way better than what it was being lost, because now there's awareness, right? We got to be kind and compassionate with each other. The program's taught me that even more. So things I already knew, today I practice them even harder now that I'm sober. Oop, did I lose
Nice.
you?
No, you
Sorry to
just stopped,
ramble.
and I wasn't sure if you were done speaking. Can I ask one thing? Could you just tip your camera just down a little bit? It's just it keeps chopping off a little bit of your face, and I would think that you'd want to have your face in there. Um, it's
Is
funny.
that better?
Yeah, I just had a
Sure.
mini meeting. I've been starting this little beach meeting here, and we've been doing a little reading from one of the literature, and I just learned this yesterday. These are my dogs, by the way. Um, Enthusiasm and anxiety are the same thing. And so what I learned is that it's like there's a point where, like, healthy enthusiasm, and then all of a sudden it crosses over to that unhealthy anxiety. And so it's become a new mission for myself, because I'm a take it too far Tony on every single emotion out there. And so taking it too far Tony can, like, I'm very enthusiastic. And it's like your
Mhm.
enthusiasm to try and help someone turned into anxiety. And I was just, it's like, for me, one of my new quests is to find that defining point between enthusiasm and anxiety. Because not only can we turn enthusiasm into anxiety, but we can calm anxiety down into enthusiasm the other way.
I like that.
I
Yep.
was like, whoa!
Very nice.
I'm like, my whole life is going to change now. Woo!
You're a genius. I'm not going to therapy tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, for me, my life is definitely nothing short but a new life. Like, it doesn't even have the same picture as the old life, because I'm actually here presently. I'm actually, trying to guide myself with some principles and not just lying about everything and using about everything. And I feel like I'm living instead of just dying. There was so much that it was like I could just feel this constant self-propelled push of decay going down, inside. And before the steps, I really didn't feel that I had tools to see things accurately or make changes inside my life. I didn't I didn't have a psychologist. I didn't have a psychiatrist. I didn't have somebody who dissects mental things and, tries to bring you assistance with that. And so it wasn't until I started doing the steps that I kind of became, come on, get up here. There we go. Sorry, dog wanted to mount shoulder. He's right behind me here. But and so now, like, going forward with these tools, it's letting me, first of all, create this new community that, I feel now, especially, like, this is kind of my first big trip with the community. And guess what? You're alone nowhere now inside this community. And not just digitally. It's like, man, it's like I could be sharing a meeting this week down here, and I started a little meeting, and there's other little meetings that I'm going to. And, it's everywhere. Recovery's everywhere. And the people are there to love you just like the doors you walk in when it's your group.
Yep.
And in fact, what I'm finding is that, they're super stoked to see people traveling and try to stay in their recovery, to be quite honest. And it offers kind of, you know, kind of offers a break from the regular perspectives you see in your group, and you get to hear some, you know, whole different stories and shares and ideas for that matter. You know, for me, I feel like it's now a lifelong journey to implement the tools that I found in recovery. You know, I feel that you know, the steps are just like this kind of like cyclical thing where hopefully I'm just going to make my onions smaller and smaller by the end of it. And yeah, I think pretty much for me that's where I'll start off with that. Andrew, do you got a question here for Lily?
I do, and that's a good point that you bring up, though, Milan. I wanted to touch on that too, because you said that you know, you're bringing meetings to other places. Obviously, you're down there for several weeks, and you've adapted your life into the program down there, and it's good to know because, you know, somebody who might not travel or is getting ready to travel to another place and they're feeling some kind of angst about it, right? There's going to be some recovery wherever you're going.
There's a recovery parachute everywhere.
Everywhere. And so I don't care where you think it is, you know, there's going to be some recovery there. And so just know, if you are in recovery and you're getting ready to travel, just seek those things out maybe before you go. There's ways to find those meetings before you even head down there, so you got some peace of mind on the way down there. So thank you for bringing that up, Milan. That's a good point. Yeah, so I will start. I'll ask you, Miss Lily, or that's where the way we're going, right, Mr. Milan? We're going to
Yep.
Lily and there. Okay, great.
Yep.
So what are the tools? What are the most important tools you've learned in your recovery, Miss Lily, to avoid relapse?
Reaching out. I think the only thing, like I say, I tell people the only thing I pick up today is the phone. The only thing I pick up is the phone. I pick up the books. So every once in a while, I'll pick up one of the sisters from the fellowships that I attend. My sponsor is a very, very big, has had a very big impact on my life. And family. I stay pretty close to family right now. When I started my journey off the darkness here 2 years ago, like 2 years, it just blows my hair back. How much has been done in the last 2 years, and on Monday will be my 1 year chip for alcohol. Like that thank you. It just blows my hair back, like how much I've done. And I mean, not just spiritually, but the self-discovery, like it's just unreal. The strength I have that I'm able to do what I'm doing today with you, with both of you. And I still have so many ideas wherever this inspiration's coming from. I guess it's the fever, right? It's the fever that I want to be able to. I want to be able to keep doing what I'm doing. I do beauty needs. I'm an esthetician, a massage therapist, and a reflexologist by trade, right? So, and then on top of that, I also enjoy the motorbike industry. But with me being lost, I had to put all that stuff on pause. I tried to do it, but it wasn't working out. I was not accomplishing anything but relapsing over and over again and thinking I wasn't the problem. And again, responsibility, accountability, and I you know where I'm at today is that I want to be able one day go back to my lands and do what we're doing today. Do you know what I mean? Maybe possibility, attend a few meetings like you had said, and courage. The courage I have today, the fear has been lifted, not just the obsession and the desire. That's all gone. But I mean the fear of having to be able to live healthy and having to be able to embrace and have the gratitude of what I have today is just beyond. It's beyond this planet of words that I could even describe of how grateful I am to be alive. Out of a group of like over 20 of us, I'm the only woman that's still alive.
Wow.
And I have to hold that flag pretty high up there. And it's not to be naive or, you know, and then I think sometimes, you know, like, why was I saved? Why did I make it, but the others didn't? Why didn't, you know, and that's where I'm at right now. And I'm trying not to make too much sense of it because we all have our own journey, right? And I will hold their memories very, very, very close to my heart for the rest of my life, right? So, and that's what keeps me strong. That keeps me not wanting to go back. That gives me the strength that I do not want to be one of those people that people go and visit at the cemetery, or go and share my urn, or go and spread my ashes somewhere. That's not what I want. And that's what keeps me sober. The bond I have with my brother, my confidant, my bodyguard, whatever. And he's my little brother. We're like 4 years apart, but after dad passed away, he stepped it up and he's the rock, right? So, and like I was saying at the beginning of my recovery, he was the one that said, you know what, you got this. You don't want to go to rehab or treatment or detox, you're on lockdown, right? And just the feeling, what I put my body through to get off of all of that crap, I will never do that again in my body, especially my mental state. Like, absolutely. And I would say to him, when is this going to go away? Like, crying, like shaking in pain, like from withdrawals. And he's like, tomorrow's a better day, Lil. Like, you know, and I would say to him, this is a big word also in my recovery, hope. I'd be like, I hope so. I hope so, brother. I hope tomorrow is a better day. And look at where I'm at today. You know, I go and see him every single day, bring him a coffee, or we go out to dad's and we bring him a coffee. And, you know, I'm like, you know, I sure wish, you know, and he's like, you got to let that go, hand it over. So yesterday, that's what I did. I'm like, I'm going to stop saying that. I'm going to stop saying, I wish things would be, I wish I would have done this 10 years ago, or I wish I would have done this 5 years ago. Right. So, and that's where I'm at. I get it, anxiety, anticipation, hesitation, and all that. It kind of sometimes builds up, but every single day I'm grateful of how full my cup is to not relapse.
Yeah. Hope, hold on, pain ends,
Sorry.
Lily, right? Hope, hold on, pain ends, right? That's an acronym for hope, and hearing other people's experiences, helping other people every day. You know, hope is a big word to me. You know, so
You know, I feel like you're here to carry the message for all those women, Lily. I feel like
big
some
time.
days when you come on and you start talking recovery, like as if, you know, for somebody who's new, it's like you got this no bullshit, don't fuck with me. We got recovery
Yeah.
happening
You want to get
attitude.
clean?
I
Let's go. If
mean,
not, get the fuck out of here. I don't got time
but
for
it's
it.
but I swear, like
And
I
I'm
think
sorry.
it.
I'm sorry if I come off like that. You know, the other thing that I've been taught through the program, it's okay, like what Andrew had said, you got to be thoughtful, mindful of how your words are carried, right? So if I am scaring, I don't want to scare women away, especially
No, no, no,
women.
no,
Like,
no, 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 no,
oh,
no, no,
okay,
no, no.
It was a
sorry.
good thing. It
Not
was a good
scare,
thing.
not. No, no,
Oh,
that was
okay,
a
okay.
compliment. That was a
Oh,
compliment
okay.
about the strength, about the strength of your message.
Yeah.
About
Yeah,
it's just like, you know, that it's a battle. It like, you know, like recovery is a battle. Recovery
Leading
is
by
a battle.
example. Leading by
Yeah,
example.
yeah. And
yeah.
that's what I'm saying is just you carry a strong message. Not everybody needs a soft, gentle, like starry wipe message because not everybody's going to hear that message. Everybody
And
needs
that's
message
that's the
delivered in a
victory.
different package.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
that's the victory of it. That's the victory of you,
yeah.
Milan.
Mhm.
That's the victory of, that's what you have accomplished. And even you guys, like, you boys, like, I know you have more years, but the way I see it also, this isn't a
You have more
race.
years than me. No, you have more years than
Oh,
me, I
I'm
think.
sorry. It doesn't matter. At the end
It
of the
doesn't
day,
matter.
like,
Hey, if you
I'm
woke up
good with
before
this.
me today, you got more clean time than I do today. How about that?
I got more
So
clean
I'm
time than
saying
Andrew every single day.
It's not
every
a
single
race.
day.
That's what I'm going with this. That's what I'm going with this. It's not a race. Somebody that has 20 years could still be struggling where I've already accomplished after today
Yeah.
at 2 years or a year,
Facts.
right? So it's not a race. And
Yep.
Nope.
that's that. And that, you know what? Right there, I just shared a little bit of my compassion and my love that's burning inside. And I've
Yeah.
always, and that's the other thing also is society. Actually, I'll save that question for next.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You're good. Yeah. Okay, Andrew, I need your
I'm
question
gonna ask
again.
you. Yep. So what are some of the most important tools you've learned in your recovery process to avoid those relapses and those triggers that come to you for relapse?
Okay, repetition. Repetition number one. I
Okay.
repeat my fucking program every single day. I don't mess up. I do what I do. I get up, I do my readings, I do my music, I do my exercise, I walk my dogs, I do my meeting. And if there's, sponsee or sponsor or podcast, whatever, that becomes part of my day.
Yeah.
I've heard it said a lot of times, I stay in the middle, so I'm not going to fall off the edge. Every single time one of my really close friends has a relapse, honestly, I search through my program and I'm like, where am I weak right now? Where am I weak right now? Because I know that there was a point where I'm sitting with all the friends that have relapsed, and I thought we were all going to make it in my own little naive new recovery brain, right? And I'm now like, am I jaded? I don't know if it's jaded or just like, scarred by the pain of watching people fall around me, right? But that definitely, like, one of the things I think for myself is, and it goes back to the share I heard from this guy in the program a long time the other week. It's that keeping myself a student. Like, am I on recovery coast, or what new did I learn today? Like learning that thing about enthusiasm and anxiety. That to me was like a really big thing to learn. And it only came up because we opened a book and Miscellaneous put her finger on a paragraph and read it. That's the only reason that I learned that fact. But what was I doing? I was sitting with someone doing a little mini meeting, and that's recovery. You know, it's like I just stay active in it. It's part of my life, and I don't put it on the back shelf and take it out on Saturday nights and go to 1 hour meeting and call that recovery. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it. All right. So you want me to go ahead and answer my question?
Oh, yes, I do. Would you like me to ask your question inaccurately?
Go ahead, Miss Lily.
May I?
You got something to add?
Sorry. May I just add to what I said? What
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, of course you can.
People, places, and things.
Boom.
Boom.
Avoid old playmates,
That is
playgrounds, and playthings. Get away from them.
absolutely. So when I'm having a bad day, the last thing I want to do is go back to the past. Go looking for what used to make me feel good, right? I go look for stuff, and even the library has brought me quite a bit of serenity right now. I mean, yeah, we all got technology on our phone, but there's nothing like getting back into society, passing the same street where you used to pick up and head into the library go grab yourself a coffee, so the abundance of the knowledge, not just behind the library, but the awareness, it all connects. It's all connected at the end.
Bro, that reminded me of something, Lily, because that's my superpower today. Like I live in the place that I grew up, and I used all the drugs I did for 20 plus years, and I drive by those places on a daily basis to get to my new workplace where I work at a doctor's office. Like it's my superpower that I can literally drive by those places and not think about them. It's one of my superpowers today, being able to do that. And you're talking about driving by to go sit at a nice quiet library, right? Open a book, do something healthy, learn something, right? It's beautiful. It's beautiful what we do.
Poetry, cooking, I don't know.
Anything.
You can look up so many things. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yep. You get to, interact with people. I really enjoy little stuff like that. The museum. Sometimes I go downtown in the museum here. It's not that big, but
it's crazy. You think your brains don't come back, your brains come back.
Absolutely. I was just going to say that, the brain was so lost and, brain fog, I think it was called, that some of the stuff that I'm relearning, You know, they say some women at 50 are unteachable. I think I'm about to prove everyone wrong that actually thought that and that actually would say that to me. This ain't gonna work for you. You're unteachable. Well, just coming back with the boom is all I gotta say, because this
Coming back with the boom.
That's
yeah.
fuel. That's fuel for your fire, Miss Lily. You know, somebody saying you can't do it. You know, like someone told me I couldn't get clean, and I'm like, okay, all right, we'll see. We'll see, you know. So you know, we kind of have that fuck the world mentality anyway. So I use it now towards like drugs. Like the biggest thing I can do to like stick the middle finger up to my addiction is not use. Right? I can keep that that mentality that I was an active addiction, but on the good side of it. So but that's a great point. It's a great point. Our brains, once we start learning little things, that they really do get back, you know, you start getting that brain back. It's an amazing thing. So to answer my question, what are some of the most important tools that I use to avoid a relapse in those triggers, right? I got to try to identify the triggers, right? That's one of the most important things I try to do is identify, you know, recognize the situations and some of those emotions, and some of the people that may cause me to get into that spot. Because if I can identify them on the front end, I can just avoid them, or you know, I can have a plan in place or a strategy to tackle that and tackle it in a healthy way, and not have to worry about that trigger coming back on me on the ass end of it. So um, you hit on it, Milan. You got to remain teachable. We got to remain teachable at all times. As soon as we have this thing figured out, we're done. As soon as we think we have this whole thing figured out, we're done. We bury a lot of smart people in these 12-step fellowships. A lot of smart people. And so you got to do that. Miss Lily, I don't know if you know, I hang my hat on love. I like everything, you know, the foundation of my recovery is built on love. And I can
Mm-hmm.
rebuild that house at any time, but I have a very, very strong foundation built on unconditional love, because it doesn't lose. It doesn't know how to. And it's the most
Yeah.
powerful drug in the world, if you ask me. So, so with that being said, the tools I've learned, look, I've got to play the tape through. I've got to remember that last one and not the first one. It's very, very easy for me to go out of here and start using again when I think about how fun that first one is. Right. And I think about it like this, like it can be real fun to think about jumping off that building, like that initial rush of jumping off of that building. And it could be, you know, ooh, very exciting. But then if we don't realize that like we're going to hit the ground eventually, what are we doing? Right. So in active addiction, I almost looked at it as I would jump off that building, and I'm so sick. Every floor I'm falling down. I'm like, all right, I'm still good. Right. I'm still good. I'm still good. And then what happens? You hit the ground. And so I've gotta remember that last one. I have to remember that last one where I'm curled around that bathroom floor for 3 or 4 days, wanting to put my head through the wall. Like I gotta remember that last one. So that keeps me on my toes in terms of relapse. Um, yeah, meetings. Look, meetings. It's really hard to use drugs in a meeting, Lily. Really hard to use drugs or drink or whatever you're doing, and it's really hard to use that DOC in a meeting. And
Yeah.
so my home group's name is NA Meeting Makers. We make a lot of meetings. We travel we travel in packs like wolves to meetings, and we just keep each other accountable. There's also, I don't know if you know about this technique, the HALT technique, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. That's something that I've learned to identify emotional triggers, right? That can lead me to poor decisions, right? It's kind of like I don't know, like a self-assessment tool to determine
What was
whether
it
I'm
again?
vulnerable for relapse. It's HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And so
Perfect.
yes, and so it's again it's a common way to common emotional triggers that lead to poor decisions, right? And it's a simple self-assessment tool that if you're in one of those lanes, right, just get those things because you're kind of putting yourself susceptible for a relapse. And then I step 10 that bitch, man. I daily inventory. I have a choice to lay in my bed and go, hey, how did I mess up today? and then I can make an amends. And if I'm wrong, I can promptly admit it, and I can say I'm sorry to somebody, so I don't have to sit there and stew on it. Because as these things layer up in my head, when 10 to 15 things get up there, I don't have anything else to do but blow this shit up. So, that's kind of like the laundry list of tools that came to my mind when I was coming up with that question. So, with that being said, we going on to you, Mr. Milan, for a question?
I thought that Lily was asking
Okay.
the next
Well,
question.
then I'm going to continue with my until she is ready to ask her question. So look, in terms of practicing good self-care, that's something that keeps me, if I'm staying healthy, it keeps me not wanting to go back to drugs, man, because drugs don't make anything better. Right, Milan? I've never met anybody they told me that they put drugs on a situation and it made it any better. So, so I've got to stay enthusiastic about my program, right? I've got to stay subjected to it like the common cold and catch it. I got to catch that enthusiasm everywhere I go. It's staying around people like you, Milan, and Miss Lily, right? It's staying around people that got recovery fever, if you
I'm
will.
burning up, man. You see this sweat? You see this sweat? You see this sweat? This is called recovery drippings. These are recovery drippings.
I see it, drip, 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 drip. But but then look, exercising, journaling, reading the literature, whether it's literature or not the literature of the 12 steps. That's another thing. Getting getting into new hobbies, finding new hobbies to get into, even getting into the old hobbies that you used to once enjoy. Let's see, I've written down spend time with supportive people, right? Supportive people.
Ooh,
And I know
she's back.
she's back in one
Sorry, I had to use the potty.
no worries. And I also know that one of the easiest and quickest ways out of my own depression and in my own head is a meaningful conversation. And that's what we do that's what we're doing right here. So that's kind of my laundry list. And so, Miss Lily, we're gonna pass it to you to ask a question to Milan.
Me.
Oh my goodness, where do I begin?
Wherever you want.
Slots here. Okay, so may I ask like definitions of what you think of words and how the
You can ask
program actually.
whatever you want. You can ask whatever you want.
Okay, so when oh god. Sorry guys. Okay, so when do you think enough was enough? What brought you to the rooms? Like what got you to that? I don't like saying rock bottom. So that's why I'm trying to be gentle with my words.
No. So
and I know they refer to it as rock bottom, but I have a different definition of rock bottom, so that's why I don't word it like that. Please and thank you.
For the last couple of years, things were going downhill for me. Spiritually, emotionally, using wise. There was, a couple key moments where I just knew that I was 100% face to face, actively lying to people I loved in the face of them asking me if I was using, and like that demoralization was, it kept kind of getting me closer and closer, but I would still use, and I would still remember. Like I still remembered the points of like the nights where I would look myself in the mirror and be like, this might kill me, and still use more. And it took me actually on September 30th of 2023 that, I was in St. Joseph's in downtown Vancouver, and my heart stopping from it. It was that was the moment. Like that moment was like, that's it. Like, and it was actually, in the most bizarre way, a really freeing moment. Like I woke up from that knowing, hey, like I don't have to do this anymore. Like I just knew that I was done. And I didn't know how I was gonna stay done, because after 37 years of addiction and 17 years of like, attempted white knuckling and whatnot, trying to quit. The first 20 years for me were like awesome. I was like, this is awesome. And then the last 17 were like, this is getting pretty horrendous. And there's a lot of really negative events happening. And so when I woke up and thought, okay, I don't have to do this anymore, it was like a big relief. It was like a kind of like my own type of surrender before I even knew what the program was. I didn't know though how I could make that happen, because the number of times I'd lied to myself saying I don't want to do this anymore, or I like the number of times that happened. Like, I'm not using today. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not using today was like the most like phrase thrown in the garbage with so many different events near the end of my addiction. I'm not going to use today. Oh, I'm not going to use tomorrow. Yeah, this is my last. Like, this is my last. Or I'm not going to. Those sentences just meant nothing to me after a while. I was like, how's that ever going to work? So I would say that was the actual turning point for me. And then after that, I spent like 13 days detoxing back at my place and then went into treatment for 35 days. And then that just going into treatment and applying myself wholeheartedly to what they were showing me was really what changed my life.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful. So for me, Miss Lily, God, when you asked that question, I'm sitting here getting emotional.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, that is what that's why we're here. That is why we're here. This is therapy for us too. I just remember, I had used drugs for a long time, man. I used a lot of different drugs and with people in my family, outside of my family, but in the latter years, I remember the day when this happened. Like, I was on so many substances, uppers, downers, to get to the next day, just to keep my sanity. And I remember little spots where I would feel my body like shutting down, like in the last few months. Just laying in bed, just doing simple things. And I worked in a job where I was crawling under houses and doing estimates for like structural repairs and termite moisture control, stuff like that. And it just wasn't an easy job either. And I remember one morning when I didn't have any of my DOCs. I was on my way to work. I had 8 appointments that day. And I remember like I remember my body, like it went from my mind to like my breathing to my body was shutting. Like, I knew my body was shutting down. Like, I knew there was something going on. And I was going over the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, which probably don't know anything about it, but it's a long bridge over some choppy water, and people go over there and die over that thing and die a lot. Whenever they go over it, they usually don't come back. And I remember sitting on this bridge, and we weren't like going fast or anything. We was kind of like in stuck traffic. And I remember when this thing started hitting me, and I had a split decision on getting out of my truck and just jumping over the bridge, like just doing it on my own. And that didn't last long. It wasn't it, and I knew I was in trouble when I even thought about that, because I never really had a thought about that. It was like almost a better idea for me to do this on my own than to be driving and my body shut down and then I hit somebody else, or I hadn't even gone through the tunnel yet. I could get into some kind of a collision in the tunnel and shit. I'm like, all these thoughts are going through my head, but not in a systematic way or anything. I'm just freaking out. I'm trying to control my breathing. I'm starting to, like, my breathing is shutting down. It's slowing down. And I remember just like losing all control of my body as I'm going through the tunnel. Like, I made it through the tunnel, and I remember losing track of everything, like all faculties, and just I was lucky enough where I got to the other side of the bridge, and I was able to just get my car into like a safe place. And I remember not being able to do anything. I remember taking off my seatbelt and just curling over in a ball, like in my truck, in my work vehicle. And it took me a while, but I ended up, I don't know how I got my mother on the phone, and I remember staying on with her for like an hour or two, just breathing, just trying to breathe. I couldn't do it. I literally felt like I was dying, like I was gonna die. And they had a GPS on the truck. You know, long story short is she ended up finding where I was at, and I had one of those like grand mal seizures where your body just shuts down, you know, because you have so many substances in your body. And I remember like waking up in the hospital, like the detox hospital unit, and I remember the guy that was in the bed next to me, and he just asked me a couple of questions, and I didn't really know. I was still kind of coming to and trying to figure out what the hell was going on, because I had never even been in a detox yet. I hadn't been. This is my first time doing any of this, and I remember looking over at him. He's like, "Man, you're in the right place." Same like you, Milan, man. When
Young Gabriel.
this guy looked at me and he's like, "Bro, you're in the right place, man. Let's go get us some food." And I'm like, I remember thinking, I'm not in the wrong place, right?
Yeah.
If I'm in the wrong place, I gotta escape the wrong place. So you're telling me I'm in the right place, and we can go get some food now. So I remember following this guy, and that was kind of the start of this thing, and that started a year of hell for me, because we're stubborn people, and that didn't stop me. I went to detox for like 7 days, got out, pink clouded it, went back to it. I found myself back in that same detox unit 3 times in the same year. And before I went to like rehab in an inpatient facility away from my house. And that was was the roughest time of my life, but it was necessary, right? It was necessary. It led me to where I got into rehab, and I found the rooms of the 12-step fellowship that I attend, and it's given me my life back. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was the last house on the block, and I came in and I sat my ass down on that rusty ass couch, man, and I started listening to these people who had something that I wanted. They brought H&I into my facility, and there was these good-looking men with their heads held high, looking good, smelling good, talking good, and grateful to be there, and talking about how us 80 addict inmates are keeping them alive, and they're there on a Friday night with families, talking about going golfing and stuff. And it gave me the initial hope shot that I needed, that maybe I could change my life for the better, you know. And it's what's catapulted this thing into my life now, man. And I now know that everything that I've gained is a result of coming here and shutting the fuck up and listening, and listening to learn to listen, and learning from my predecessors that come before me. I know I was prayed into these rooms, man. It took a lot of prayers to get into these rooms. And so I don't take that shit for granted, that those prayers actually hit in my direction. I know people that go out of this world all the time that don't even know what their issue is. Like, I'm grateful I know what my issue is today, Miss Lily. I can work on what my problem is today. You know, I have a disease that leaves me in a better position now that I know that I have it and I'm being treated for it properly than if I even had the disease to begin with. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that, you know? So yeah, I went a little off on that, but yeah, that's my answer to that.
And now you got to
No
answer your
worries.
own question, Lily.
That was some beautiful stuff, Andrew and Milan. Sorry. Sometimes the tears come down. I really felt all of that. Um, yeah, when I knew enough was enough, back in 2022 is when I had to clean my act up from all that darkness. My darkness is no different than anybody else's. Drugs are drugs, right? And drugs kill people. And yeah, epidemic we're in right now with the fentanyl. Is just terrible. But when I knew enough was enough was when I OD'd twice, and my son ended up calling the paramedics in my bedroom. And I mean, I could hear everybody scrambling and getting set up and, calling out my name, but I couldn't wake up, right? But that still wasn't enough. I went to my mom's, I got cleaned up for 45 days. I didn't do detox or rehab or treatment. It was just at mom's house and the courage inside of me to have a better life. Then I went back to the same relationship And 6 months went by. I had a drink of Jack Daniel, Honey Jack, and we would chase it always down with some canned peaches, homemade canned peaches. And yeah, people, places, and things. And just they were doing what they were doing, and I was offered it, and there was my second ODing. The girl that saved me, she's not here anymore. And that time it took 7 Narcan kits to bring me back. So when I think about that and what I put myself through, not just myself, like the people that were, and I get it, the people I was around, the way I see love today, unconditional love and stuff, and this and that, my understanding of unconditional love is way different than the understanding I had 2 years ago, 3, 5, 20 years ago when I was lost in addiction and alcoholism, right? But today I love myself. The program has given me an abundance of awareness of self-love. And I'm still learning on little boundaries on how to say no. I understand that. That'll gently come day by day. But today I'm not going to question anymore because I let it go yesterday, but I'll just briefly bring it up. I don't mean to bring it up because that's kind of going beyond what I did yesterday when I asked the creator to just take away this wishful thinking of why didn't I do this? And you know what? At the end, that's just self-sabotaging myself. And I don't want to do that because that's what I used to do before, right? That's what would get me. And like what led to that DOC, I have a tumor in my neck where they can't operate on. So the doctor for pain ended up giving me oxys and Percocets and using and abusing those pills ended up enabling how do I say that, the underground society to enable me with my new fix, if you know what I mean. So when I got introduced that DOC, it took me to a different level, right? Pain wise, right? It numbed me out. But today I got prayer, meditation. I have beautiful brothers and sisters in the fellowship that would never introduce or enable me. And it doesn't matter today how much pain I have. I hand it over. I know when I'm heading into one of those episodes where, I'm going to have a splitting migraine all day long because of this pain in the back of my neck and blah, blah. But you know what? I get through it. I take extra turmeric today. I take all these substances today. Pardon me. I take all these natural vitamins, vitamins that keep me going. And even with mental health and pain and I know some people don't believe in any of that natural remedies and natural healing, but I gave it a chance, and this is where I'm at today. That yes, they do work. They do work. You just got to give it an opportunity for your body to absorb and accept and go through the process of the vitamin. I don't know if you guys hear the drills. I'm kind of like, I'm sorry. I'm inside the truck
I'm
here
not
because
hearing them at
No,
all.
you're good.
okay,
You're
that's
good.
good. It's pretty loud out there.
I've got all of Mexico here, man. I can out loud you in a second.
You've got the ocean.
We could get monkeys and all kinds of shit on the background if we want. Yeah.
And now that I'm able to smile today. Do you know what I mean? I'm able to be happy. I know what that feels like, and it all started with me. Like even with love. Like this whole time I've been telling people, when I was lost in addiction and alcoholism, I love you, blah blah. No, my understanding of that today, because I love myself, I'm able to
Boom.
understand. I understand it at a way different level. So,
Preach, girl.
I'm just happy to be happy, and I get it. We can have I had all sorts of things, like we all have materialistic things, money coming left and right and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Right now, less is more. And we've got, my partner and we've got quite a bit. And he's like, well, what else do you want? You know what? My cup is so full. I don't need any of this materialistic stuff. As long as I got my integrity and I have my sobriety and awareness, and I've got the power from up above in the universe and stardust and the aliens and everywhere else that I believe in, even the army of the dead that I pray to every single day. I will continue doing what I'm doing with all love and respect, because that's what's worked for me, right? So I gave it a chance. I know that it works. The stubbornness and where I was at, like I knew it all, and it's my way or the highway. That crappy attitude is out the window on the highway, because it's not part of me anymore. That's what got me into where I was at, thinking I knew it all. Oh, this will kill the pain. This will kill the trauma. This will kill the numbness. Absolutely not. It killed me twice. And that's where I'm at today, is that holy macaroni, elbow macaroni, that no, it ain't, it's never gonna,
Yes.
it's not gonna happen, because it's not for me. And that's why I share my story in depth, is because there's a lot of suffering people out there, even people on the streets that, oh my goodness. And I know some people judge me also when I pull over and I give them a toonie, or I'll go get, a case of coffee and a couple cups and hand it over. You want to know why? Because I wasn't given that. I was judged in society.
Mm-hmm.
I was slandered and this and that. But today, you know what? It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, because that crap that happened in the past, that's what kept me in the past. And that's what kept me there stagnant. That's what kept me there in depression and self-pity
Practicing compassion.
and self-sabotage. So now I seek love, compassion, tolerance, and acceptance. That, and the other thing also, in the one of the fellowships, I'm the unity information, public information. So I have the pamphlets that, you know what, if I'm gonna do this and this, I'm also gonna give you a pamphlet, right? So yeah, so it never ends, and that's where I'm at right now, is that what was given to me, it is in me today. I'm built that I have to pay that forward.
Got to give it away to keep it.
I have to pay it forward. Bad days, it doesn't matter.
You got love sitting on one side of you and acceptance on the other.
Right here,
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Andrew, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
When we're using the tools available to us, we could see the challenges we encounter in our work as opportunities to practice our program. Applying the principles never makes life worse. When we're not practicing our program, our problems become magnified unreasonably. How has this been the case for you on your days off?
On my days off, what do you mean my days off? Oh, my days off from
your
like
off
working
days.
and stuff?
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, my off days. Off days. Yeah, I got
no,
you.
like
So,
your off day.
Yeah. So, gosh, man, if I do have off days, I've had 3 of them leading up to today. When I'm sick, I feel like I'm coming off of drugs, man. When I'm really sick, and I've been really sick the past 3 days, I feel like I've just went through a bout with drugs, and I'm and like it's like the flu, right? It's like coming off drugs. I've got to avoid complacency. If I'm not all in on my recovery every single day, then I'm done, man. I'm done. I stay in meetings. I'm a meeting making fool, Miss Lily. I have the all-time quarter, and I have a license to kill when it comes to these meetings. And so I wear these meetings out, which keeps me mindful, keeps me active in my recovery. I'm always hearing somebody else's struggles. It's keeping me grateful. It's keeping me in that gratitude lane. I heard a long time ago that a grateful addict does not use. And so I try to remain grateful. And that's one of the things that we hear most often in these rooms, is that sentiment of gratitude and gratefulness, and being grateful to be here. And so when I'm in my downtimes, man, if I'm not in a meeting or practicing some kind of fellowship, I pray. I really gotten comfortable with the prayer piece. The prayer piece allows me to reset my day at any time. So if I'm having one of those off days, I can reset that table at any time throughout the day, even if it's just a simple serenity prayer. the serenity prayer was so, so vital to me early on in recovery. It was the first thing I learned how to do before, without even knowing I was doing it. And I remember the first time that I actually started saying it without having to like hear somebody else say it first. And it was a special thing for me. It started that relationship. And so I pray, man. I pray, I have to have some kind of emotional regulation because my emotions are constantly up and down as an addict, even in recovery, even clean. My character defects are going to come out in ways that I didn't know before, and I'm going to be able to feel them in a way where I could feel a certain way and maybe go feel like using drugs is a better plan than tackling that character defect. So I've got to stay emotionally regulated, and I got to keep my mind tapped into the most important things, because I feel like my emotions come from almost from my belly and my body, and then you got my mind that's kind of running security on that thing. So I've got to train my mind to be stronger than my emotions, or I'm going to lose out every time. And with that being said, my decision making, if I find my decision making lacking a little bit, I've got to step back and revisit that. I've got to step back and revisit that. If I got people in my life that are saying that there's something going on that they recognize in me that they don't see as proper, I'm going to take that into consideration. Not so much the people that I don't really love and respect as a part of my inner circle, right? Like, because a lot of people can say anything they want, but I got to put stock in those people that I love, because if they're saying that there's something that is going on that is a little bit hairy, then I got to revisit that. And practicing self-good care keeps me not having those bad days. So that's kind of it, Milan.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I heard
Good one.
background. Yeah.
Miss Lily, do you want me to repeat the question? Because
Sure, why not? Let's do it.
when we're using the tools available to us, we can see the challenges we encounter in our work as opportunities to practice the program. Applying the principles never makes life worse. When we're not practicing our program, our problems become magnified unreasonably. How has this been the case for you in your off days in the program?
There are no off days. We get no time. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I was like, now is that honesty you're practicing there?
Work the program. Oh boy, this has been fun. I on those off days, it that's when I have to hand over the character defects, like defects of character, whichever, right? And take accountability. Same as the shortcomings. I don't like that's the thing right now, is that I've surrendered so much that I keep working it, and it feels good, even on those days that it's not an off day. But I do have those off days every once in a while. I'd be lying. I'm a human being.
Mhm.
And some even have said, you make the program look so easy. That's because I've worked the program, and it's not just working at going through these meetings and sharing at the fellowships. It's working the program every single minute of the day. And that's where this is work right here. If I were to show you boys what it was like 4 years ago compared to today, anybody could see the difference, right? And I mean, with that being said, handing it over, surrendering it, and then that's where I'm at. If I feel the only thing I'm having a little bit problem with is the word no, but that's gonna come, like I keep saying. But even the boundaries, and being grateful for, even if it is a bad situation, it's not a problem. It's just a little itty bitty little circumstance that'll find us. I'll find a solution for it, and there I go. I go on with my day. Right? There is no more problems. The only problem that was when I was lost. That's when all sorts of problems were arising and surfacing and this and that, because there was no responsibility, accountability, and everything else to go along with it, right? Am I echoing, or is that just the
It's
outside of what's going on?
Milan, I think you got something going on. You got something going on in the background? There's somebody talking.
Oh, it's probably a neighbor. It's probably a neighbor. It's not you echoing.
Okay, cool. Just
Yeah.
making
You
sure.
know,
Yeah.
right.
I'm on a
So
roof in Mexico. There's no silencing a neighborhood.
it's the roosters. The roosters are about to come out. Have some rooster fights. I don't know. But anyways, and you know what else that gets me by on those off days is comedy. I mean, I don't need to put in that's what's helped me heal, is that it's okay to smile, it's okay to giggle, even at things that people, as long as and I've never been a person to laugh at other people or make fun of other people, so that's not in me. But I'm okay with giggling about stuff that I used to do that was just redonkulous. And today it's just like, you know what? That's crazy. That's
It's
crazy,
therapy.
Lily, back in those days. Oh my goodness gracious. It's like, you know what? Not today. Not
Never
happening
again. Never again.
no, no, absolutely. And principles before personalities, I practice that throughout constantly. Even when I get up in my head and I start overthinking, I got to hand it over, because it's like, what am I doing? Why am I trying to
Yeah.
analyze what's going to happen
Yep.
tomorrow when I haven't even said my prayers for, with gratitude, and have said my prayers for everyone? And you know what? When I pray at night, I don't just pray for myself, obviously. I pray for every single human being on the surface of this planet, everyone, especially if they're suffering in pain, just to give them the strength to hand it over and surrender.
I feel like you've
You know?
listened to our
Yeah.
last two podcasts, Miss Lily, because I've made a point
No,
to
I'm
talk about this.
behind.
Listen,
I'm
so
behind you,
this
Parker.
has been my main point on the last 2 point of a podcast. What is one of the most intimate things we can do for ourselves? One of the most intimate, loving things we can do for ourselves is pray for ourselves, right? And what is one of the most intimate, loving acts that you can do for somebody else? Pray for them. And then we've talked in depth about the feeling that it is when you pray for somebody that you might not like or like necessarily. And I say this a lot, like, I love everybody. I don't like everybody, but I love everybody because we help each other recover. In one way or another, you're helping me recover. And so I this is something that it's uncomfortable at first, but when you pray for somebody that you really don't necessarily like, or they like how they're acting, and you pray for them and something good happens to them, that feeling is unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It is, and that's what's yeah, and I haven't heard your two podcasts, but I think I might do a recap later on when I got a little bit of time. But
You'll
that's
never
what's
catch
helped me
So
up.
glad
heal.
you said
You'll
that. I'm
never catch
so glad you brought that up, Miss Lily, because that's something we've been really driving home lately. Is praying for other people and
I'm
getting, and
still
that
gonna
gets you
try,
outside of yourself.
Milan. I'm
You'll
gonna still
never
try,
catch up.
Milan.
I know you can try, but you'll never catch up.
Milan, it's not a race.
But when you were just talking about comedy, like I have three older parents that live with us, and I came to the conclusion 2 days ago. I'm like, I'm going to master laughing at myself, because I think that that's the only way to get old and happy. It's like, if you can just laugh off all the things that you can't do anymore, or all the stupid things you do, or all the things you forget, then you can age gracefully,
Yeah, it's not so serious.
but like, I think being able to laugh at yourself is probably like the most unsung, like, talent in the world, because all the old people I see that just laugh at themselves when they do something silly, they're so, like, they're so much calmer in what's
You have
going
that thought,
on.
like, I wish I could be that person when I get to be that age. That's exactly how I want to be.
I've like already set the goal, man. I've already set the goal. I'm just like, okay, now and I'm full of doing stupid stuff. So like, I
We
can
know.
practice. I got lots of practice already here, right?
I'm just handing over the knowledge of
Yeah.
a 50-year-old woman that laughter will get you through the day.
Laughter's
Absolutely.
love. Laughter
Mm.
is love to me. If you can laugh, there's some love going on there, right? Laughter is love to me.
Boom. I love
And
laughter.
back to what you were saying there, Andrew, about praying for even the ones you don't, the guy I was with, that I have a child with, that, you know what, I might not be in love with him anymore, but you know what? I still pray for him. I still care about him. I still love him. It's just a different level, right? Because he still is lost and suffering, and he's not ready. He's just not ready to so when I tell people I had to let go to hold on, Yeah, I had to let go of a lot of things to hold on to my sobriety and where I had a vision where I was heading, where I'm at today.
Mm.
And yeah, I even write stuff down that bother me that I will not say out loud. And then that's my daily inventory where I hand that over to the creator, right? The creators. And yeah, and that's what's helped me heal. Right. And then some things
Journaling.
on paper, there's journaling. Yeah. And then there's some things that I don't share out loud. I share it only with my therapist and psychiatrist. Right. So, and with that being said, not being, where I was at with with so much medication that they had me on, that it still blows their minds. Like, are you sure? And they asked me, like, today at 1 o'clock or so, I'm going to be a few minutes late, but that's okay. They're aware of that. Anyways, then they asked me, well, is there anything you need? Absolutely not. I'm good. I'm good with all my B12 complex. I got everything on the go.
Mhm.
30 different vitamins and supplements. I'm good to go.
Good
But
for you.
that's part of I believe that's part of the surrendering also, is surrendering when it says the suffering and the pain. That's where my pain comes through. It's not just mental pain, but it's also the stuff that I deal with physically, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, today is a good day. It's fabulous. You guys are fabulous. Keep doing what you're doing. It's some great stuff. I'm glad and I'm very proud that you guys invited me to do
Well, we're
this. I
really
was a little
glad you came.
nervous.
Very
I
happy
know
you're
you
here.
were a little nervous, and I was like,
I was a
gosh,
little
I don't
nervous.
understand. I don't understand why. It's just us chatting, and you seem pretty good at chatting. So here we
Hmm.
are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you sure are good at chatting.
I think so. Okay, so now I'll take a stab at answering this. You know, it's funny because I literally was just not feeling good for 36 hours. I got whatever the welcome to Mexico thing, and the very funny thing is I literally yesterday thought, oh, this is what it feels like when I was coming down here. Like I literally had that same feeling as what you just said, and it was uncomfortable feeling actually. I did not like that, but it also reminded me, hey, you know, like I might get sick, but I get better, and I'm not going to be getting high today and feeling like this tomorrow too. But you know, on my off days, 99% of it, man, for me these days is sleep. Sleep, diet, exercise, you know, reading, being part of the program, keeping myself in the middle. And on my off days, man, I'm sucking and I try to remove myself from being in situations. I try to back off to cause as little damage as I can to to other people because I feel that, you know, I can recognize when it's happening, but I can't always shut this mouth. Like I try to, you know, I'm like, well, guess whose face can be a jerk? Jerk face, Milan. That's right. And when that guy comes to town, like I am better to remove myself from a situation until I'm calmer and come back than say a bunch of shit. You can't erase words. Man, you can't erase words or actions. You know, like sorry just doesn't take a nasty sentence away. And you know, that's
Mhm.
one thing I've learned over time. So I'm just better to leave. You know, like I'm better to pause the situation and try and get out of it. And you know, but there certainly is off days. I mean, you know, and mine most recently are 90% due to rest, which I didn't even acknowledge rest until I was in recovery. I used to say sleep was for pussies. That was my saying for like 32 years. And I like, and it,
Sleep when you
I
die.
yeah, that's right. Sleep when we die. That was another one of them. Yeah, but definitely I was like, no, like, you know, I definitely rode like the 2 to no hours sleep for so long. And that was not serving my body one bit.
Nope.
Um, so yeah, I think that that's pretty much it for me for that one. Andrew,
Yeah.
what
Um.
time do you have to exactly? Just so we know, Lily. I know you've got an appointment in 40 minutes.
No,
So
no, don't worry about me
when do you
because
want to wrap it up?
no, we're good for one. I
Okay.
told my therapist I'd be about 15 minutes
Yep.
late, so I'm only like 4 minutes away from the building, so we're all good. Don't worry
Okay.
about me.
Okay, cool.
Thank
I'm
you.
just checking in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
So do you want me to ask you
Andrew.
a question, or is it
Mhm.
okay? Cool. So I'm going to ask you,
It's not
Miss
my turn.
Lily. Huh?
Oh, is it my turn to ask the question?
I think
Or no? What?
it's.
Sorry.
I think we went. I think we
No,
went around.
it's
It's my.
Andrew. Andrew's
Okay.
next. He'll ask around and then you'll ask around.
Yep. So
Okay.
so so now I
Lily
want to
likes
know.
lots of turns.
I like it too. I like it
No.
too. So I want to know. So as an addict, we lose a lot of that self confidence. We think we have it, but we don't. And when we come into these rooms and start attending these meetings, we have to build that self confidence back. And so, what are some of the tools that you learned to help you build that self confidence back?
Well, the rebirth of Lily is the way I call it. Um, oh boy, there's lots going on in the shop here. The rebirth, the did you say the tools? Sorry?
Tools that you learned to help you build that new self confidence and recovery without being on substances.
Um, well, yeah, I think quickly here, not quickly, but gently, I had to surrender the old me to self-discover, to allow myself the rebirth of self-discovery. And the tools, oh goodness, this is hold on one second. Sorry about that. The tools, holy macaroni, any elbow macaroni, anywhere between like I have a lot of self-help books. I've done a few conventions for self-help. I've done my mental health is a big, big part of it. Um, and being able to trust myself to rediscover myself, if that makes any sense, and allow myself to self-love. Like the self-love, it's what where I'm at on my cloud right now. It's the respect I have and the honor I have for myself that I carry. It is part of self-discovery, obviously, and how the confidence, like, I mean, being raised in the environment I was raised, like I was born into chaos and all sorts of jazz and domestic abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, all of that jazz that today I don't hold that overhead because it's not part of me anymore. So it's not where I'm at. I don't know, like people ask me, well, how do you get beyond the fear of getting back into society and this and that? I've always been a social butterfly, so that's not something I've actually have struggled with. But how I say it is, well, we'll just do it gently. Let's go for a walk at the dog park. We'll see a couple dogs. I don't have a dog. I wish I had like five, but I don't. Let's just, and that's how I gently, or let's go to the library, or let's go to the swimming pool, or let's go to the sauna, just little stuff for confidence, right? Or even me getting back into a bathing suit, weighing 163 pounds, and then today I weigh 140 pounds. Like even those little steps of me getting back into, or getting back on a treadmill when I see all these, and you know what, at the end, I'm like, you know what? In my head, I had to put it in my head. I'm not here to show off what I'm about. I'm here to build, to be able to show off to myself what I'm capable of, right? So inner strength is a big, and saying positive things to myself. Today I'm able to look myself in the mirror. When I was lost, all the mirrors were covered up. I would go to the bathroom to brush my teeth and wash my face and do what I had to do in the dark. I wouldn't turn on the light because I was so ashamed and I felt dirty, and I betrayed myself and my self-being as a woman. And even if I wasn't a woman and I was a man or whatever, or an alien, I still I still betrayed myself in the sense of not being able to shine. And today I'm able to shine. I like getting all dolled up. Today I'm in a hoodie, but oh well. I still know that I'm beautiful inside and out. I don't need a whole bunch of this and that and blah blah blah, because I know that what I carry today shines bright like a diamond. And that's what I'm about right now, is that we do not need all of this bling bling and all of this makeup and all this, designer wear, whatever to show. No, you know what? If we came into this world naked, we're totally going to leave this world naked without any of our belongings, or we might leave in, a pretty dress or whatever, but at the end, let's leave. I want to leave a good image of myself. And I know, I made bad decisions. I made bad choices. I get it, but that doesn't justify the person I am today. So that's also built on my confidence also, right? Being a business owner has all being in the salon and the spa, ownership of that. I mean, that's built a little bit because it does revolve around, vanity. It does revolve, but my logo with my company is keeping beauty simple. And it's been like that for 10 years. Even when I was lost, that logo will never ever, it'll never change. Keeping beauty simple, and that's with love and respect. That's on my business card, and that's got lots to do with how you approach beauty, right? I mean, I don't know. I can ramble on and on about this topic, but that's where I'm at right now with confidence. And now that my mindset is clear. There's clarity up here. There's not all these demons playing around with you should be doing this and that to be a better. You know what I mean? To get the validation today is where I'm at. It's built on my own confidence, right? And working the program has allowed me to even build even more on that, handing over my defects, doing my daily inventory. Like, who would have thought, and just being able and just being honest and willing and open-minded that I am teachable. Even at 50, anyone's teachable. This dog over here has been taught new tricks. And I'm if I have to bend the knee, I'll bend the knee if it has to do with being a better person and carrying the message and building on my sobriety day by day. I will bend the knee if that's what that's what it comes down to. But working the program and and prayer has lots to do with that also, with the confidence, is that, sometimes, it doesn't happen so often now, but at the beginning of recovery, yeah, it was a lot where I'm like, oh, hand over this, I have to hand, and I'd pray to God. So the design of what I got going on and how I had to rewire my mindset has built on my confidence. Absolutely. And yeah, I owe that all so much to the creator and of course to myself, because I had to be willing to surrender and say, hello, my name is Lily. I'm an addict and an alcoholic. I need some help. So that's where I'm at. I hope
Beautiful.
that
That was
answered it
beautiful.
correctly.
It beautifully answered it. I had my hair standing up on my neck when you were talking about that.
Boom,
Everybody do a
boom,
handstand and
boom.
a cartwheel.
Yes, I loved it. I loved it. So I'm gonna ask you, Milan, you ready? So we come into this thing beat down, right? We don't have a lot of, if any, self-confidence. So what are some good tools that you've learned to build your self-confidence back? Because you're quite a confident dude.
Then that's unbelievable that you say that to me. So I'm really grateful for that. First of all, I want to say thanks again for being here, Lily. You're inspiring. Your answers are inspiring to me, and I'm really just grateful for your time here today. Coming in, man, coming in into recovery, I think that I was definitely like, it wasn't just a rock bottom of addiction, but it was a rock bottom of demoralization. Like I had no faith in who I was because all I did was lie. And like I got to steal this from Jim, but Jim says, you want self-esteem, do esteemable things. He says that all the time. And and God damn it if it's not true. Like 100%. Like,
You don't want to believe it, but
it,
you're like, yes, that's so true. I mean, so
I
true.
100% think I'm just like, do nice things and then therefore you're nice, because our talk is cheap. I wouldn't pay $1 for our talk. What I would do is I would pay $1 for my actions, like I just I think there was so many false promises near the end. There were so many false promises near the end that it's like I literally feel like my living amends have got to be the entire rest of my life in order to balance the scales. Like I was 51 coming in. You're just a little spring chicken, Lily. I'm like 52 right now. See, like
It's
spring
all
chicken,
good. It's
Lily.
not a race. It's not a
I know.
race.
Oh, trust me, I'm not trying to race to the end. I'm trying to race from the end right now after going with it. But yeah. So the very first thing is to start aligning who I am with who I want to be. That's the very first thing, because that is what was keeping me sick, what was keeping me out, and never giving me any like real sense of confidence. I had no confidence in who I was because I wasn't doing the things that I said I was doing. Like I literally wasn't. And in my mind, I was thinking of a way to do something else anyway. So there was no alignment between action and thought, and therefore I couldn't stand with integrity. Like integrity means being whole, pretty much, and I was not being whole in my actions and my thoughts. And so trying, when they say practice those principles in all our affairs, they're like, not, well, you leave out the ones you don't want people to know about. That's not what they're saying. That's not what all my affairs. They're like pick and choose because the program is kind of wishy-washy. It's
Yeah.
not like that. It's just
No.
not like it's not like, hey, kind of be honest, but lie about that.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. And so it's chipping away though at the whole of it, like chipping away. Like I do I have dishonest thoughts? Yeah, but am I trying to not do dishonest actions? Yes. You know, like I don't think I can stop my brain from racing as fast as it races at certain moments. But it's the action on it that changes that. Also, like I was treating myself like shit enough that I killed myself. So now I'm trying to treat myself different. I'm trying to implement exercise. I'm trying to eat healthier. I'm actually learning how to sleep. My new mission is I want to learn how to sleep on my back. This is like a big adventure. Milan's big back sleeping adventure. Like
Right
it's
on.
true. I've got
I just
really
learned.
wide I've got really wide shoulders and it's like crippling me to sleep on my sides. And I've always been a side sleeper. So I have a new mission. It's
Try
like
like
learn how
this.
to
Try like this on your back. Go like this.
Yeah.
And I know it's like a coffin, but
oh,
that's a good way to do it. A lot of people sleep just like this, man. And it's a good way
okay.
to do it. It's a good way to
Okay,
start.
well, okay. Tip one. See, look at this. This is why we're here today. The healing
Or
happens
even
for all
or
of
even
those.
under your or even under your like this. This is how I do
Ooh,
it.
That too. Yeah, it opens
yeah.
up your lungs. When you're like
It
this and
opens
you kind of, it
Ooh.
it
opens
opens up your
everything up.
lungs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, this is why I had you guys here today together. And
You
okay,
can
one
even go
more.
one on top, one in back. One in top, one on back, and you get a little best of both, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna look like, woo, I'll compose it and I'll be like, all sexy. Um,
Telling you, man.
but and part of the reason why I can sleep even now is because I'm getting tired from actual legitimate action, not from missing nights of sleep. And then service is something that makes me feel good about myself. Like
Yeah.
I'm not doing it to make me feel good about myself, but I gotta say, man, when I'm talking to a sponsee and I see they're doing good, that makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
Like that's like, man, and like, my first sponsee finished the 12th step over the Christmas holidays. And that was his goal to do it before the year ended. And to see it was like, A plus plus, brother. Like I don't know, like it was amazing. It was amazing to see him evolve inside that, and that's there's just doing the right thing, seeing that smile from my family because I'm actually here in the morning when they wake up. Like we've been to Mexico a lot of times, and this trip and the last trip are the only trips ever that my wife woke up and I was sitting, laying beside her, sleeping. Ever. Every other
Beautiful.
time I was out partying. And I know that
Yeah.
sounds like what a dick. Like what a dick, but like what a dick I was. Not what a dick I am. Right? Like
That's awesome.
it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So I
love
think
that.
and you, Andrew?
Yeah, so man, you brought up both of y'all brought up a lot of things that hit home with me. The service piece, Milan, that will build up that confidence, right? It gets you in an uncomfortable setting, and almost in a controlled environment, so that you can feel those feelings without having to do it like at your new job or something like that, right? And so, yeah, it also building my self confidence and that self esteem in my recovery. It all starts with being honest. I got to be honest with myself and all, like you hit on the honesty piece. If we're not honest with everything and all of our affairs, we're playing a video game here, man. And so that's not what we're here for. So being honest with obviously others, but it starts with self honesty. If you cannot be honest with yourself and come in here and be like, I'm a drug addict and I'm a fucked up individual, then you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna grow. I've learned to pinpoint my strengths as well as my weaknesses, right? And I can write them down. Miss Lily, you talked about writing, journaling and stuff. What that does is it allows it to. A lot of times we'll play over in our heads that the God of our understanding is hearing all of our problems and writing all this stuff down for us. But if we don't write it down on paper, it doesn't make it really therapy for me until I write it down. And what it does is if I write it down, it allows it to be face up to that God of my understanding, right? Um, yes, he might hear all my thoughts and things like that, but if I write it down, it makes me accountable to him, her, whatever you're looking at. And so, um, pinpointing those strengths and weaknesses through step work. Um, and then I can't beat myself up for my mistakes, right? If I'm running into a lot of mistakes and I'm failing at things, it just shows I'm trying, right? I can't beat myself up because I'm making mistakes. It just shows that I'm trying to do things differently. And so knowing that I'm gonna make mistakes and not let that fear of these new things shut me down, it helps to build that self confidence because my mind keeps track of shutting down, right? If I hit a bad situation in my mind and I run from it, you can rest assured my brain will keep track that I shut down, and it'll be a little bit easier to shut down on that next thing that hits across my table. But on the other side of that, if I push through it, that uncomfortable moment, my brain will keep track of that as well, Miss Lily. I was able to push through that time last time, and so it might be a little easier to do it this next time. So it's another way I'm training my mind to be stronger than my emotions. And then I can't compare myself to others. We do a lot of comparing to other people, right? And I heard somebody say a long time ago that I don't have to unscrew somebody else's light bulb in order for me to shine. Right. I don't need to compare myself to somebody and what they're doing. Now, if somebody has something that I want, I'm going to practice humility now. That's another thing I hang my hat on is humility and remaining humble. And we talk about this a lot in our podcast. People love talking about themselves, Miss Lily. And so if they have something that you want, ask them. Ask them how they did it. How did you stay married for that long? How did you keep that job for that long, right? You just might be surprised that they're going to tell you how they did it. And they'll probably tell you the secret sauce behind it. So, I can't compare myself to others. I can only learn from them. As well as on the other side of that, I can't try to be perfect in my actions to try to inspire others, right? It's just how I live my life today and how that naturally inspires others, right? I just can show people how I've gotten myself better. And that builds confidence, right? I've got to set realistic goals for myself, right? I can't set unrealistic goals that I can't achieve. If I set realistic goals for myself that are achievable, then I can, when I achieve them, what does that do? It builds confidence. Um, and so setting those realistic goals, which can be a little weird for us coming out of active addiction, because we don't really know. We have all these lofty goals. We might be on that pink cloud that we talk about sometimes, but being able to reel those in, being able to channel those properly is very, very important. Um, I got to trust my feelings too. As I get a little farther along into this process and I get a little more clean time under my belt, I've really got to trust my feelings and my actions because I've been doing them a certain way for a certain amount of time and I've been clean for a certain amount of time. And so I've got to learn, the more and more I get into this thing, the more and more I got to trust my feelings and my instincts and trust that gut, in that healthy way. Got to take it one day at a time, got to take care of myself. And I got to stay out of my will. right? If I'm staying in self-will and not in his, then good luck, man. Because I'm not it. I realized that a long time ago when I got in here that I wasn't it. I was it for too long, and now I've got to give it over to the thing that made this whole thing happen. So, staying out of my will, staying in his is very, very important to me, and that keeps me confident in all my actions and in my decisions. Because even if not, again, if I make a mistake or it doesn't work out, I know that wasn't in the cards for me. The God of my understanding had something else better in store for me on the other side of that thing, and I've gotta lean into that because I'm working my program and working my step work and staying connected, and staying spiritually connected, right? I got to stay present in that present moment. If I got 1 foot in yesterday, 1 foot in tomorrow, I'm pissing all over today. So, right, I got to stay present, conscious contact. So it's very important to me. So that's my list.
Nice, Andrew.
I think Miss
You
Lily's
got
turn.
time
That was
for
awesome.
you
That's
got
a
time for one
beautiful
more
list.
round of questions, Lily? And it's your question that you get to ask.
We got time for one more? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. May I ask what you're grateful for today?
Ooh, okay. I'm grateful to be alive today. I am grateful
And
we're doing this.
sorry. So what are you grateful today, and how does recovery fall into that with the help of the program that you work day by day?
Woo. So for each one, okay. So I am grateful that I'm alive today. I would not be alive if I'd kept on that path of drugs. My body would have shut down and stopped. It was on its last legs, and I know that I'm like, there's a phoenix in this logo for a reason, because I feel like I'm rising from my own ashes. I am grateful for my family having had the patience and the forgiveness to give me a chance to provide a living amends and to change and show them. Um, I am grateful for my little dogs because when nobody loves me, they do. And I love them all the time. Um, I am grateful for this podcast. I there's no fucking way 17 months ago, I would have been like, "Hey, I'm gonna have a recovery podcast and be a host." Like that would have been like right between rips or something. I would have said that. Like, come on, so like I'm really grateful for this because I feel that I'm getting I'm getting the opportunity to learn, to connect, and to heal with other people who are very like-minded in this program. And I haven't done one of these podcasts with somebody that I don't think, it's kind of bonded us in a way of having these conversations and sharing. And I really, really love that because we're not we're not having like the how's it going? Good conversation. We're not having the like surface conversation. I feel like we're going as deep as we can, or we're going as deep as we're able to. And I love that. It makes for an entirely different life and an entirely different group of friends. I am grateful I'm in Mexico right now, and it is by the grace of my father-in-law having strokes last year and us not coming because I paid for this trip 2 years ago and we're totally broke here. And so like I get to be broke, but in the best vacation ever. And so that is another thing I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for fresh fruit. I'm actually grateful that I think I had food poisoning versus a flu because it's food poisoning is faster. Food poisoning is way faster. Like I feel like I'm just got to get past the feeling of dehydrated now. And so I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for all of the music that I'm gifted with in my life because I get to make awesome, awesome music that is getting better and better. And I'm grateful right now that I learned that I think a lot of things that were happening with my fingers and arms that I thought was like kind of part of aging or something was like a pinched nerve. I got an inflatable neck pillow and my neck is like now my hands are faster again. And it's amazing. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Means we can play music faster and better and more music.
like I wasn't
Yes.
playing enough already,
Yes.
right?
So what am I great? God, man, I'm grateful for.
Hello, you're making me cry. That was beautiful.
I'm great. Look, I have to start off by saying I'm grateful for you two right now in this present moment. And allowing me to be in this moment with you guys, being able to be present in the present moment without thinking about drugs in my past life was something that I didn't think was ever going to be a possibility for me anymore. I came into these rooms and I didn't have anything, and I was given so many things. I was given the chance to love myself again. Um, once I sat down and I let y'all love me enough to where I learned how to love myself again, that's what y'all told me. Look, just let us love you till you learn how to love yourself. And I did that uncomfortably at first. And then when I would come back the next day and they would call me by name, and then I would, just because I came, and it would blow my mind that they would know my name and they'd be grateful that I just showed up the next day. I had no other choice but to lean into that feeling. And I was shown how to be a human being again. I had been leeching off of society for so long, the people that loved me, and I had been burning bridges around me for so long, and I didn't give a shit about anybody outside of this meat suit that I was walking in. And so I was given compassion, I was given love, I was given respect. I was given a place that showed me that I wasn't alone when I thought that I was living my life alone, and I thought I didn't have anybody else that could relate to me. And I was shown that there were hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people out here in this world just like me, going through the same shit that I was going through, and going through it clean, and grateful to be there. And it put things in perspective for me. I fully am aware that, like, it took a lot of prayers for me to get into this room. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for my predecessors that came before me that prayed me into these rooms. And I can't. Narcotics produce this illusion, Miss Lily, that my life was manageable, right? And as an addict, like, narcotics was that artificial means to gain my spiritual experience that I'm looking for. Because I think as a kid, I think we all come into this world and we think, we're all, I think from the day we're born, we're looking for that, for whatever it is that we're looking for, that spiritual experience, right? As we get older. And, now I have, this 12-step program and this step work and this fellowship. That's my practical solution. Now I have a practical means to gain my spiritual experience today, and it's literally an open book test. Narcotics were not the problem. Narcotics were not the problem. It was that conscious separation from the God of my understanding. I was running from him in active addiction because I had nothing to offer him, and I thought that if he caught up to me, like, he was going to take the little things that I did have. Because I'm not doing anything right. Everything I was doing was wrong. So I came in here and I got vulnerable, and I was able to, I had to burn myself completely down to understand myself completely. And y'all showed me how to do that. And y'all gave me hope. You gave me hope that, like, that I could get my life back. And so I wake up I've talked about this before, Miss Lily. I used drugs for so long that I used to wake up sometimes and I would forget that I was a drug addict for like 5 to 10 seconds in the morning while I was wiping the sleepies out of my eyes or whatever. I don't know if you can relate to that, where you go. And I know Milan can't, because he was just, as soon as he woke up, he was on. But I would literally forget that I was a drug addict for about 5 to 10 seconds. And then it would hit me like a ton of bricks as I'm laying in my bed, like, fuck, like, here we go again. Right. And then you think about the night before, you did a little bit too much, didn't have enough, don't have enough money to get through the day, don't have enough, whatever. It's just a rat race every single day. And now I'm grateful because sometimes I'll forget that I'm in active recovery, and I'll wake up and I'll think I'm a drug addict still. And for about 5 or 10 seconds. And then after kind of the cloud wears off, I go, like, this rush of just gratefulness comes across my body, because I realize I've been clean for 3 years, and, like, these uneasy feelings and that angst feeling, it's not me wanting to go use drugs. I need a meeting. I need some fellowship. I need to grab my tablet and get on here and hear somebody doing a reading or talk or call my sponsor. And that right there is the gift of life. Like I have a life outside of using drugs, right? The promise in our program is that any addict can stop using drugs, which sign me up right there. Sign me up. You can tell me I can stop using drugs, sign me up. But not only that, can lose the desire to use. I'm definitely in now, but not only that, you can find a new way to live. Where am I going to go? I'm grateful for this program, man. This program gave me everything I could have dreamed of and more. And I know it's just beginning. And on top of that, look, clean time doesn't mean anything to me. If you woke up before me today, you have more clean time than I do. But it means everything to me in a way that it has allowed my family to sleep for 3 years. You know, my mother got her son back 3 years ago. You know, my family is not worrying about that phone call in the middle of the night. That's everything to me. That's everything to me. So for that alone, I cannot let those prayers that hit in my direction down. And I can't let my family down. I can't let myself down. You know, if you're listening to this program and you're thinking about getting clean, like, you deserve to know who you are before you do something stupid. You know, your family deserves to know who you are. So, and we have a practical means to get there. So just hop on board. And all you got to do at first is stay clean. Just get your ass clean. You don't got to do all this work we're talking about, these step work. Like, that shit comes later. Just get clean. Start hearing a message. And things get better. It gets easier. So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for you asking me that question.
Guess who loves you?
You.
I do.
Love
Guess who loves you
man.
too, Lily? Guess
Yeah,
who loves you too,
I love-
Lily?
Sorry?
I said, guess who loves you too, Lily?
Me.
Who loves me?
Me.
Thank you. I love you guys too. Thank you so much for this opportunity. What I'm grateful for, yeah, I'm alive, clean living, sober living. I was, and that sorry, I gave it an opportunity, not just to prove to myself that I'm worthy and that I deserve a better life, but just to carry that message on that it doesn't matter where you're lost and what drug for how long, but like Andrew said, if you're just willing just to give it a shot, you deserve what we got also. Yeah, and just all the gifts I'm given every single day, and I don't mean materialistic gifts, just to be able to go outside, and I'm not in a country where I have to pay to go in through those rooms a cost. The only desire is to stop using, right? And it'll come. It's not gonna happen overnight. I'm not cured, but at least I can say today I'm grateful that I worked what I've got going on right now. I went to these meetings. I worked the program. Sorry, I'm just really trying to hold back more tears here. But today I'm
You can let
grateful
him
that I'm
go.
able
You can let him go.
today I'm
Let him
grateful
go.
I'm able to feel. I'm not numb anymore. I don't need to go and hide, feelings and anger and all this. That BS is all gone. It's all been lifted, right? So I'm grateful that I got the program taught me that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to reach out. It's okay. We're like Andrew said, and you, Milan, we're gonna love you until you love yourself. Yes. Yes. And you just gotta hang in there until the miracle happens, right? And it does. Like, I was one of those women that thought I knew it all, but no, I don't. I don't want to stop growing. I don't want to stop growing spiritually, and keep rediscovering myself every single day. Oh yeah, I had this in me. I got this today. I got that, and and I'm blessed. Like, I'm so beyond blessed that I live in Canada. Like I said, that these programs are free. Like, in some countries, they don't even have these programs, right? And, or they're at war with each other. We're absolutely not. These programs probably, knock on wood, will probably never exist, but I'll keep praying for that also. Um, yeah, I'm grateful for the spirituality I hold under my belt, the faith, the hope, the understanding of service work, carrying the message, and I'm not gonna stop. Like, that's the thing where I'm at right now. The fire is so I'm gonna add this is just adding more wood to my fire, if you know what I mean. It's
I
just
do.
adding more to my fire that's burning.
She's burning
Yeah,
up.
and, and hope. I carry that pretty high in courage. I wouldn't have been able to get through all of this without courage and unity. That is, like I shared with Milan yesterday, that is a big part of that's what recovery gave me. It was just an abundance of people that care for me, that reach out every morning or through when they're ready to go to work at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and send me my affirmation of the day, or a daily prayer or whatever. And you know what? I've never had love like I have received throughout my the program, right? And that was because, it's just the way the cards laid out, right? It's just a different kind of, I call it tough love, but today, I'm grateful for the love that I actually understand today, because this is the healthy love of living. These are beautiful brothers and sisters that actually mean it. Not that they're trying to get something or gain something out of me, and
It's
something
non-transactional,
something
non-transactional.
so, and I mean, it's just I'm just grateful, very beyond. I don't want to carry it on and on, but I'm grateful for clean water and, like Milan said, fruit. I got money in my bank account, stuff that, a place to live. Tonight I don't have to worry about where I'm going to be sleeping, or if my ex is going to be coming in with a different woman or beating me up or whatever. I don't need to worry about any of that. Like,
If the drugs
that's
are
where
going
I'm
to be
at.
good enough or anything. None of that. None of that.
And I'm grateful that today I know that I deserve a better life, and I have a better life. And I wish that for anybody out there that's suffering, to just, give the program a chance, and you will see, you will feel, and you'll go through your transformation, and with or without makeup, and with or without bling. And you'll feel it. You'll feel
Mhm.
the growth. You'll feel it. You're gonna feel all of it, right? So yeah, I had a few other things to say, but I didn't jot them down. I just sometimes the brain can only, sponge so much.
We're
But
definitely having you back, Miss Lily, by the way. We're
and I
definitely
got
having
I
you
got
back.
I don't need to sorry, boys, just a couple more things. I thank you. Thank you. Anytime. And I'm, like I said about money, today I don't need to worry about picking up or going to the casino, not to gamble, but to go drink. To, I rather put that money at a meeting in the basket, and I know I'm doing something good other than enabling myself to destroy myself. Absolutely not. So, yeah, the I get to enjoy the stars at night, not being under the influence of anything, the moon, all sorts of jazz, the smell of just the smell of the air, even when it rains out, even the snow. Like,
Hey,
I'm not like
colors are
running around
different. Colors
I'm
are
not
different.
running around half frozen trying to pick up in a different city to try to find my way back into this city hitchhiking. Like, like, elbow macaroni? I don't think so. Not today, not tomorrow. That
That's
is
her new
gone.
Lily Elbow Macaroni. That's her new name. We're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hey,
so,
Miss Lily, I
and
heard accountability a lot in your message today. Throughout,
it
common
is.
theme was accountability, 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 accountability. I love it, and thank you for that.
Absolutely. I'm not I'm and you know, you and that's what the program's given me is accountability, absolutely. Responsibility, being honest, humble, like humility. Like who would have thought Miss Lily would actually be feeling all these feelings, but I want to feel these feelings. I want to be connected with my higher power. I want to be connected with my feelings and not ever, ever, never, ever. And I know I shouldn't be saying that, but just for today, today is not going to be a day where I'm going to be running in fear because the electricity bill is $20 more than last month and I'm going to have a meltdown. You know, it just
Blow it
doesn't
up.
exist in my life anymore. Well, no, the gas station. Now that's ridiculous. That's another topic for another day. But we ain't blowing anything up. The only thing I'm blowing up is getting to know
Recovery.
myself a little bit and recovery. Absolutely. And just the message. The message on recovery is, yeah, it's mind blowing. It works. You work it and you will see results. It's like going to the gym, right? If you want to lose the weight and you discipline yourself with a good diet, that's the mindset of the program has given me the stepping stones, the tools, the awareness, the faith, you know, beyond courage. And there's no more fear. Like that's the thing also, the willingness to keep going and keep moving through it.
Yep.
There's going to be good days and bad days, but that's us
When
being
fear
human.
arrives, answer it with faith. Done.
Yes. And Milan, before I forget, this is the last thing on this. I'm a Scorpio, so if you go through the Scorpio thing, the phoenix is part of it, along with the bird or the dove or the bird or something that turns into a Scorpio. And anyways, on my Facebook, there has been a phoenix on there since I started my recovery. So all this is all connected.
Only natural.
I love you all.
Yeah.
I love you all, and thank you so much for your unconditional love and support.
Thank you, Lily.
And maybe
I
one
love
day
you.
I'll have a podcast going in South America, and I'll invite you to. I
I'll
really
come
enjoy
and
myself.
try to.
We'll
I'll
be
come
there.
and try to
Your
speak
company.
in Spanish.
Yeah,
I'll try to
yo,
speak
si
it
yo
in
hablo
Spanish.
español.
Yo
Si yo hablo
quiero.
muy bien en español.
Suficiente
Vivo
para la
donde
gente.
Mm.
Yeah,
Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
I went to South America when I was 16 years old because I was being a rebel out of you know, being a kid, a teenager, and my parents moved all of us up to South America. They put me in a nun school, and that's where my education was done. And yeah, the Spanish was drilled. It didn't matter.
Oh, that's great.
You're gonna stay. And if you misbehave, weren't able to go back for the weekend, right? So I misbehaved for a good 5-6 months until I'm like, I'm bored. I think I need to go see my mom and dad. But yeah, we'll continue this talk a different day. And
Okay.
that's my influence. That's why I read it, write it, spell. Yeah, that's how I'm fluent in Spanish, right? So, and the background, I'm Chilean, South America, Lily from Chile. So it goes 1 and 1.
There we go. Awesome. Well, thank you again for being here. And
Thank you, Lily.
to everybody out there, tune in next time for more recovery fun.
Love you
Bye-bye,
guys.
everybody.
Love you.
Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.